Hello, 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 and good night. It's a beautiful night. Oh, what a night. Hey. How are you guys doing? I know y'all missed me last night and Sunday night. Well, Sunday's church, so Sunday's completely out of it. Hey, Miss Johnson, how are you? How are you doing? I'm here tonight, and we're going to be talking about the strength of a woman. And talking about what is it that is important being the strength of a woman, and why is it so important to uphold each other and share and fix each other crowns and all the good juicy stuff we're going to be discussing tonight. So my friend, we've been friends for almost 10 years of friendship, and she's a ride or die. She's the kind of people you want to keep in your corner at all times, right? Hey, Cedrica and Lady Lise, say good night. How are you guys doing tonight? Lady Lise, I see you, you're on tour. Yes, Queen, how are you? I see you're on tour. You're doing big things. That's awesome. Awesome, awesome. Cedrica, how are you? Cedrica Titus. So how is everything, Lady Lise? How is everything? Y'all know I love conversation. Y'all know I like when y'all talk back to me. So come on, let's start a conversation. Let's start a conversation. Let's start a conversation. We're talking about the strength of a woman and what it means to you. And why do you believe that there is a strong woman inside of you? Why do you believe that every woman on the face of this earth, she is strong as the rock of Gibraltar? Right? Every female upon the face of this earth is strong. We could be washing, cooking, cleaning, ironing, and do everything all at once and be done before. Hey, Leslie. Everything's good? Yes, everything is good on my end. Everything is good over here. We gonna have some snow tomorrow, though. That ain't good. That ain't good, Lady Lise. That ain't good, Michelle. That ain't good at all. I thought we were gonna continue to have sunny days, sunny days, sunny days. But that's not the case. Hey, Pia. That's not the case, So what we gonna do? We gotta just get up and roll with the punches, accept changes, right? And work with what God is doing, because we can't stop his hand from functioning. We gotta just go with the flow. So we gotta get up in the morning, wrap up. Oh, Melecia, hola. Wrap up nice and warm. Gotta put the turtleneck on, a hat on my head, Hey, Donald, we got to wrap up in the morning to get to work and make sure that we're nice and warm so we don't get sick and all of that stuff. Welcome, welcome, welcome to my chat this evening, the strength of a woman. What does it mean to you, and why do you believe that a strong woman, a woman that has tolerance, a woman that has courage, a woman that has virtue, why do you believe that she lives on the inside of you? Or do you believe that that woman lives on the inside of you? Hey, Lynn, thank you. Every woman can look within themselves and find their strength. That is so true. Welcome, Lynn. We're discussing the strength of a woman tonight. So put in your 2 cents, and your 3 cents and your 5 cents and your dollar. So do you believe that as women we are weak? The Bible said that we're the weaker vessel, right? But is it weak in the sense that we're weak mentally or we're weak physically? What does that mean to you when we say women are weak or women are strong? We're having a conversation, so you guys talk back to me and I'll talk to you, right? For me, when it says that women are strong, it means that mentally we're strong. Is here to discuss the topic with me. So we're gonna be chatting for a little. Good night.
Good evening.
Yes, everyone that's tuning in. This is Miss Melecia Munn from New York City, our human resource coach and life expert. And she's a professional at what she does. I've known Melecia for almost 10 years because I've been singing since I was 17, and it's been almost 10 years since we've been friends. So it's a long journey. It's a long time. To have a friend that long, it takes strength to deal with me because I'm a mess. Hey, Kim. Hey, Miriam. Welcome to the channel tonight. We're talking about the strength of a woman and why is it important for us to be strong for each other. So, Mel, go ahead and introduce yourself to Hartford, Connecticut.
Hi, Hartford, Connecticut.
We have people here from Alabama. We have people from California, all over watching. My friends in UK and Nigeria, they're all watching right now.
Okay. You have to excuse me. My voice is a little hoarse from the weather change, so you have to excuse me. But my name is Melecia Munroe. I am originally from Belize. I always make this very clear. I'm from Belize. My mother's from Jamaica, so my career path has totally been by accident, I have to say. I fell into HR totally by chance. My major was at St. John's as a journalism major. I wanted to be the news reporter coming to you live from Channel 12 News. Didn't work out that way, but that's okay. So I fell into HR by accident. So over the course of my career, it's probably been 15 plus years in HR. I've seen a lot of things. I've experienced a lot of things as a minority female in the workplace. You'd be surprised at things that I've encountered that people would probably think twice about the things they say in the workplace. I've been sexually harassed. I hate to say that, but I bring that up for a reason because as women, we do tend to experience some of these things.
Well, you know that's okay because look at Ryan Seacrest. We have the Me Too movement right now, so women are finding their voice.
Yes, definitely. So thank you for this platform. I think it's very crucial for women to understand the value they can offer, personally and professionally, but also learn how to create that balance in the workplace. Know how to separate your personal and not bring it to the workplace, and how to rise above some of the issues that we tend to encounter. And I think for minority women specifically, I talk about this often. Hair is a big thing for us, and I talk about it all often. I will continue to speak about it, and the reason why is I've had things that were posed to me from Caucasian women that, again, you would be very surprised the questions they may ask. Even my mother's, she's experienced it. She came from Jamaica. It was just she and I, and the questions she may have been posed. It's very interesting how bold people can be in the workplace, and it's bad enough that as minority women, there's dilemmas that we have to kind of go through. We're trying to develop ourselves. We're trying to be seen. We're trying to be heard. We're trying to be respected. So to have to add all these other components, whether it be a sexual harassment, whether it be questions about, our curves, our hair, so, and I don't want to say just women, men go through it too, to some degree.
Yes.
They just don't talk about it. So again, this is women empowerment, but it happens to a lot of people, male and female. So thank you.
Melecia, what would you say now in this era, in this time, for women? How do we handle sexual harassment in the workplace or outside of the workplace? Do we scream out? Do we fight back? Do we report it to our bosses? How do we handle that situation in a work setting?
hmm I think the first thing you need to do is confide in someone you trust. And more than likely, that's someone in HR. That's where I come in, or someone you just feel comfortable speaking with. I can honestly say when I experienced it, I was very young. I was probably 21, 22. First job out of
Mm-hmm.
college, minority woman. The person that I encountered was a minority female. I mean, sorry, male, excuse me. So it was very uncomfortable.
Hello there.
Yeah. So it was, you know, I, I was very annoyed that it was one of our own that put me in this position that I had to have this conversation with someone to confide in. And the way mine came out didn't come out in the way that it wasn't that I confided in someone. Someone saw us having conversation and saw his behavior, didn't think it was appropriate, and then it caused the conversation with HR. But again, being young, you don't know your rights. I was young, I didn't know my
Right.
rights. So I always say to people, when you know your rights, you have a little power that you need to make sure you use wisely. You speak to someone in HR. Confidentiality is very high for us in HR. That is my job. It is my job to have those conversations, to make you feel comfortable to speak with me privately. Um, and I felt like I said, I fell into HR by accident, but I think personally, because of the way that I conduct business, and I want people to feel comfortable in my presence. It makes it easy for people to drop a lot of information on you. So because of that, it's positioned me to go further in the HR career. But again, back to the whole sexual harassment, speak to someone that you feel comfortable with, because if you do, when you speak to someone in HR, it is by law, they have a right to take action. If they do not, there's a huge problem with that.
Okay. I see Dion made a comment. She said they typically, is this our Dion?
Yes, it is. Hi,
Okay.
John.
Just making sure before I say she. Sorry. Hi, Dion. Thanks for joining us. They typically catch us when we are young and
Yes.
inexperienced. Those days are over. That
Mhm.
is so true.
Yes.
I've never experienced sexual harassment because I don't really like working for people. I like to work for myself. I'm very rebellious. Yes, that's why I like to do motivational speaking and I like
Mhm.
to travel because and sing because I
Mhm.
do not like to be controlled by what
Right.
they say I'm supposed to do and how they say that we're supposed to live our lives, right? That's my opinion now. Diane also said HR is supposed to protect you, but if it doesn't appear that way, they will protect you. But if it doesn't appear that way, they will protect you, then you must address it when
With the head of HR, she says, yeah.
with the head of HR. For some reason, the words are jumbled. Yeah. So, Mel,
Yeah.
thanks, Dion, for joining. So, Mel, do you believe that, let's say we reported to HR, right?
Hmm.
And HR said, okay, well, because I know stories right now that's in court with a man
Hmm.
that was sexually harassed by a female on his job,
Yes.
right? Do
Hmm.
you believe that when you reported to HR and HR said, okay, I will handle it, do you believe that HR does really, really handle the situation, or they are also afraid to handle the situation? What do we do when we see nothing is being corrected or no changes have been taking place?
Um, to address, I have to say I'm big on documenting. Whether it be in
Okay.
writing is, and Dion could to touch on this a little more if she wants to, but in writing, it's a paper trail. You can track it, you can save it, you can validate it that communication has been made. So if you put something in writing, at least it protects you. Now, if you have a conversation with someone, I suggest you make note of the date, you track who you spoke to, how many people were in the room, the conversation that was had, the final outcome of the end of that conversation. Keep track of what conversations you're having, because remember, the job of HR is to protect your rights, protect you, and protect the
Right.
things you do in the workplace. If HR does not report it or does not take heed to the complaint that you've made, they are put in a position that can cause them a huge liability. So trust me, they will take it seriously. But again, you have to know the company that you're dealing with. If you're dealing with big corporations, trust when I tell you, majority of them, they should know better. Do they all know better? that's another story, because you can see that in the media. Some companies, they push it under the rug. They rather not talk about it and act like it never happened. But when you don't push it,
What if you're sexually harassed on the bus or sexually harassed
mhm,
on the in the grocery store? What do you do then? Because that's the workplace. You know, you get sexually
mhm,
harassed, you go to HR, you make a complaint, it's documented, you follow up,
mhm.
we understand that part. But what if you're sexually harassed uh in the grocery store or on the street? Then what do you do?
If you're in the grocery store and let's say it happens to be an employee of the grocery store, you have a right to complain to the manager on duty. You ask, may I speak to the manager who's on duty today? Whoever that
Hmm.
manager is, you have the conversation. You bring up who, what, where, when, and why. You address all those topics as to when it happened, what time it happened, what you noticed, if you were followed in the aisles, if a conversation was had that was uncomfortable, whatever the situation was. It is the job of whoever's on duty at that time of the day when it occurred to you, that you bring that to their attention. It is their responsibility, because remember, people don't want to lose business. They don't want to lose sales. So in a grocery store, that manager, he represents that store, the whether it be the customer service, the brand itself on a whole. So you bring it to him. It's his job now to then bring it to his district manager or whoever higher up, or HR for that grocery store, if they have one. But keep in mind, not
Okay.
every company has an HR department. Not every company has that. So that's
That's
what.
my next question. Why is it so important for
Mhm,
us as business owners to have HR in our business? Small business owners,
mhm.
who is now developing. Why is it so important for us to have HR in our business?
A few reasons. Number one, again, HR is there to protect you, to provide you with your rights. And again, many of us don't know what that is. So HR's job is to find those rights, know the laws, know the regulations, and know when they're put in place and what they mean for you. Um, Different organizations have different size, whether it be, you know, 500 employees, 1,000, a million plus, whatever it is. So different things have different meaning for different size organizations. So when you know the organization size that you're dealing with, you know
Okay.
what you're up against and what they can provide for you. But if a company does not have an HR department, persons such as Dion and myself, we do HR on the side outside of our job. We are both HR professionals. We provide those services. I do counseling one-on-one to people, whether it be personally or professionally, but also HR consultation. So if your business needs HR support or needs some guidance or needs some discretional conversations about how they conduct business, that's where HR on the external HR support comes in, which is myself or perhaps Dion as well. So that's why you see a lot of people are starting to have HR source on the outside to have those conversations with, because many companies don't know how to handle situations, and there's a huge liability that you don't want to take, on your own. You really don't. That's something you really want to have tactfully handled with someone who has an HR professional background.
Okay, Dion says Mel is correct. HR protects the company. But I'm gonna ask this question because Dion said that if HR protects the company or does HR protects the workers?
Now,
Which one?
now I'm so glad you said that. It all goes back to the company that you choose to work with. So if you do your homework, if I choose a company, let's say I now work at, I don't know. I can't think of anything right now, but let's say I work for NYU. NYU's a top, university. If I work for a top school such as that, you would expect there's a certain level of professionalism and there's a certain level of the people who work there that represent that organization. So, when you look at the website, you should see an HR representative. You should see information on HR. Who represents HR, the benefits, and so forth. So, and then when you have small companies, those companies that now you're taking a chance that if something should happen, you kind of have to fend. It almost feels like you're having to fend for yourself. But if you have a good manager who will protect you and who will say, well, no, that's inappropriate, you're in good company. But again, you need to know the type of company and the agencies that you're working for and who you're affiliated with. I always tell people, watch the company you keep, and that goes for the jobs that you take as well. So
So
it's the same.
on the topic of the strength of a woman, what encouragement would you give to a female that finds herself in that place where she's afraid
Hmm.
to say to someone, I've been sexually harassed, whether it be at home, on the job, outside, wherever she is,
Mhm.
how would you empower that woman to win right now if she's watching and she's afraid to
Mhm.
even inbox one of us and say, hey, I've been sexually harassed at my job or
Mhm.
sexually harassed at home? Because men do, women say no, and then men take it for yes. And
Mhm.
that's how rape comes about, right?
Mhm.
And that's how molestation comes about for
Mhm.
our younger women, because we will say no, and for some reason it goes off in that man's mind that it's okay to touch, it's okay to
Mhm.
sexually harass, or whatever he wants to do, it's okay at that point. So
Yeah.
how would you empower that female that's watching right now that has that issue going on?
The first thing I would let her know is you did nothing wrong. I think that's most important because a lot of people who are in the situation always assume either they wore something that attracted or created the situation. I don't care what you wore. Maybe your leg showed a little bit. Okay, you crossed your leg, it showed. Doesn't give anyone in the workplace the right to create an uncomfortable situation. That's your livelihood. That's where you make your bread and butter. That's where you feed your children. That's where you take care of your household. So it's the wrong place for someone to make you feel uncomfortable. So again, it's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. Um, but I will say to them, definitely um, take some time to themselves, breathe, have a moment by themselves before they discuss it with anyone, because you don't know who you're having discussion with that can misread what you're saying and take it out of context. So be very careful about who you're having your discussion with. Not saying that people use it against you, but you want to be careful, because if something like this occurs and it goes to court, or you're being subpoenaed, or someone's being subpoenaed, they can say, well, Melecia had this conversation with Camille on such and such a date at 8:30 p.m. Now, Camille now has to go to court and has to drop every information that I gave her about, the situation. Maybe I wasn't ready to have that divulged. So be careful about who you're having conversations with. And then last, whoever you choose to have the conversation with, be sure that you feel safe. I think that's the most important thing. You want to feel safe when you speak to someone, whether it be someone who you don't think will divulge the information, your pastor, someone in church, your spouse, your best friend, your sister, whoever it is. Be prepared to speak candidly about it and just get it off your chest, because before you get it off your chest, your emotions are all over the place. You start to feel like it's your fault, you did something wrong. Had I not said this maybe would not have happened. I
But
will.
what about the men that's
Mhm.
been sexually harassed? Does that go for them as well? Because men are very prideful.
Yes,
I
they
have brothers, and I'm quite sure none of my
are.
brothers are gonna come to me and
No.
say, "Hey sis, I've been sexually harassed." I'm gonna be like, "No, you wasn't. You're a guy."
It,
So, how would you
mhm.
tell a man now? We're women. We don't really know how men think.
Mhm.
So we're going based on, especially Caribbean men.
Yes.
They're so strong and
Yeah.
masculine. They refuse to
Mhm.
uh own up to something,
Yeah.
right? So what advice, I should say, would you give to them to say something? You've been sexually harassed at job, at home, at work, or wherever, whatever.
Mhm. The same goes. There's no difference. For a man, again, he should find someone that he feels comfortable speaking with. Unfortunately, for men, I think sometimes it's a little harder, because to have that conversation with one of his boys, he might say, "Dude, are you crazy? Like, that's so and so. You don't want that?" Unfortunately, men have a hard time, translating that uncomfortability, because it feels like, why would I be uncomfortable with this? I should be loving this. But unfortunately, men have to validate sometimes, I think, a little more than women, because it's so-called taboo that men get sexually harassed, but unfortunately it happens very often. There are women who are in power, who could be a VP and exec, and may take advantage of a young man who's new out of college, or who's just new to the workforce and trying to get ahead, and she might say, well, you know I need you to do such and such, and you'll get that promotion. And being young, he doesn't realize that's not how it works, and that should never be an option for you, male or female. So again, he as a male should have that conversation with someone he trusts, someone that is non-judgmental, someone that's not going to laugh, and someone who's going to take it very seriously. Again, that could be his pastor. You may want to have that conversation with your pastor first, and then think about if you want to bring it to the workplace and discuss with HR. But I do think for men, they have to be very detailed and very careful, just as much as women. But again, because men do not divulge this very often. We need to make sure as HR professionals that we're just as discreet and just as respectful when they bring that to our attention. In my career, I have not had that happen yet, but I suspected it, but he didn't want to divulge it.
Pray doesn't.
Right. So men are, like you said, they're very prideful, especially Caribbean men. They're very prideful. So sometimes I may ask a question that might help them, bring it out a little bit. As HR professionals, we're like counselors. I don't have a psychological degree.
Underpaid psychiatrist and psychologist.
Yes, but HR's job is to make you feel comfortable. I've worked in HR and I've seen people that I'm not comfortable speaking with. And I'm like, how did you get into HR? Like, if I can't walk into your office and have a very upfront conversation and feel at ease and at peace and not feel like you're going to, make fun or have a joke about something that's serious to me, then I'm not having that conversation with you. So I take pride in the conversations I have with people so that they know that they have a safe haven with me.
What about, let's get deep now, because we're talking about the strength of a woman. What about a woman that's in a marriage that's being abused by a man, right? Sexually, because women go through this phase, I know for a fact, right? Because I have friends who tell me, where they just don't want to have sex. They don't have a desire. They've lost that fire, I should say, on the inside to really yearn for their partner. But then the partner is saying, well, I'm married to you, you're mine, so what you want me to do? How would you empower a woman that is going through something like that? What would you say to her right now if she's listening?
So you're saying a woman who's with someone who she's not getting the attention and the affection, is that correct?
No, she just doesn't want to she doesn't have that desire. She has lost, especially women who go through
menopause sometimes
phases in life, menopausal and stuff like that. So their body goes through those changes. And so how would you empower that woman, that wife? Let's start with the wives first tonight.
Okay.
To them.
Now, I may not be married, but I'm no dum-dum, okay? A relationship is a two-way street, okay? So Dion said it, communication. If I can't speak to you about how I feel, my emotions physically and my passion or lack of passion, then there's a problem, and you should be able to have the same conversation with me. But again, it's how the communication is done. The same way you have conversation with your friends and, things can be taken out of context. Your partner, your husband, your boyfriend, whatever it is, that level of communication should be just as much there, because you're building on something. That's the foundation to start it all. So, the intimacy, that's the icing on the cake. We can love you and be attracted to you and think you're sexy and all this, but if that part of it isn't there, a lot can crumble. I hate to say
what happens if the intimacy is gone from a relationship and the partner decides that, look, you're harassing me? Because I know cases right now where women say, my husband is sexually harassing me. Do you consider it sexual harassment, or you consider it lack of communication?
I consider it her husband reaching out to her, to his partner. And when your husband or your partner is reaching out, you need to listen, because I hate to say it, and I don't want to, I'm going to be very direct. He's reaching out or she's reaching out for a reason. So what's going to happen is they're going to reach out somewhere else if they don't get it home. That's what happens.
So Dion says they must come with creative ways to communicate the changes. They, the women,
exactly.
The man. The man should speak about how it is making him feel. Change your environments. Go to a hotel. Long car drive. Leave it to Dion to bust it open.
Mm-hmm.
So find creative ways to make your relationship
Yes,
work, people,
you have
right?
to.
You know, make it exciting.
But both
I,
parties
I
have to
remember
put in the
when I
time.
was married, my husband was like that. He was a spontaneous guy. You know,
Mm-hmm.
he would say, "Hey, let's go to the movies." And while we're in the movies, he would talk craziness in my ear. So by the time we get home, it's a different story. Let's keep it
Right.
real. But then but then you have other women
Mm-hmm.
that do not um get that opportunity, or other men should say, because you have some women out there that, we talking about the strength of a woman, and these are
Mm-hmm.
areas that we don't talk about. There
Right.
are women out there that do not, they refuse to make their mate happy at home,
Mm-hmm.
right? We won't cook, we won't wash, we won't clean, we won't do nothing because we say, why? Listen, brother, you on your own. Why is that?
I think people get comfortable sometimes. I had a girlfriend tell me, and she's married. She said, Mel, she said, if you ever get married, she said, don't ever get too comfortable. She said, you need to act like every day you are dating your partner. And she's right. Every day he needs to be reminded, and you need to remind him that that door can close. I mean, I sometimes I joke and say I'm like a man because I can close that door very easily. If I'm not happy, that door will be shut. And it's not like that for everyone. Some people would rather not be alone than to stay in something. So some people would prefer to be with someone, even though it's not going well, they'll stay with someone, and just out of the situation of not wanting to be solo. And sometimes you need to be comfortable by yourself before you can give anything to anyone else. You know,
So
I've
you're
Mhm.
saying you're saying that a part of being strong, a strong woman, is
Mhm.
to work on our internal
Yes,
issues that we know we have,
yes,
mirror those issues, and create action steps to help us to be better females before we
right,
get into a relationship. Is that
right,
what you're saying?
yes. Since this is a platform of empowerment, and
Yes.
I have not put this out there, but I'll put it out there tonight. I am no longer with my son's father. So many people do not know this. Few do. My circle, who I am very close with. So what people don't realize is, I am very positive. I will continue to stay positive. It does not matter if I'm with someone or not with someone. It does not define me. It has never defined me. And I think a lot of women unfortunately feel that to have a partner is the way to define your success or define your womanhood. I'm a new mother. I've wanted to be a mom for a long time. If I did not have a child, I would still be a woman. To my ladies out there who would love to be a mom and it's not happening, it doesn't define you. You not having a child right now does not mean you are any less than the next woman who does have a child. So, you know, I know a lot of
Pia
people in that
says,
position.
now Pia is live. Pia says, the
Hmm.
reality of what a relationship consists of is not that childhood fairy tale.
Thank you, Pia. Thank you very much.
Ooh,
Hmm.
now the coach has spoken. So we're talking about the strength of a woman. Hey, Nakia, thank you all so much for joining. And we're conversating with Melecia Mon. She will be live at the Strength of a Woman conference on Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Comfort Inn in Rocky Hill, 1330 Celestine Highway. Be there, right? So you're saying to me then, as a female, because I'm single, right? As a female, in order to be a better me in a relationship,
Hmm.
work on my faults. How do you know, hey Lashana, how do you know um that you have faults, that you have those issues?
If you have the right circle, you should know this. And I have the right circle of people who will tell me and humble me very much and say, Mel, don't do that. Or Mel, why'd you do that? Luckily I've grown up around people who are strong women. A lot of the females that I have in my circle, sometimes we bump heads, but it's okay. I'd rather us bump heads and not agree than for you to be a yes friend and just tell me what I want to hear. So those are the people I like to have around me. Sometimes it may hurt my little heart, but it's necessary. You want to keep yourself around people who are not going to tell you what you want to hear.
Yes, because Facebook, let me tell you, she sets me straight. She's like, girl, don't wear that wig no more. That wig don't look right on your head. Girl, what you doing? That lipstick does not match. Oh, yes. Let me
But I,
talk about a queen fixing
but I,
a
say, I
queen.
say it with love. I say it with love.
But she say it with love. No, Facebook, let me bust it open. We've been friends for so long, right? But when you talk about the strength of a woman, a woman empowering another woman to win. I can tell you, I can attest that she's been just that and more. In my music career, I'm going on stage and she'll say, well, you look good, but next time don't wear those shoes. Why? Because maybe when I get on stage, the shoes might look good to me when I get dressed, right? But when I get on stage, does it look good on camera, right? That's what the strength of a woman is. If you see where I have a downfall, just fix my crown for me, please, because it's a little lean. So Ahmad says, peace and blessing, ladies. Enjoying the convo. Always enlightening hearing from strong queens. Hey, Melly. That's Ahmad Brandon. For some reason, she's frozen in time. So, you know, we want to make sure here that you continue. Yes, PA, it's all out of love. For some reason, Melissa is frozen. I don't know why. You know, you want to make sure that you continue to support and help each other, right? Be there for each other, right? Have the uncomfortable conversations with your other half. We Caribbean women have a habit of telling each other the truth. Now, that's the truth, Dion. That's the true truth. We do like to tell each other the truth. And sometimes when we tell each other the truth, when we tell each other the truth, we end up getting ourselves in trouble. For some reason, I cannot add back Melecia to the broadcast. Right? So we got to make sure that we do that. That's very, very important. Very, very important, people. For some reason, I can't get you back, Mel. I don't know how to get you back right now. I don't know why. I don't know why. Let's try again one more time. You know, so you want to continue to do that when you are a female, right? Male too, you know, in the radio station. Hey, Lovey, thanks for watching. You know, the strength of a woman. You want to make sure that as a woman, that whatever you do and however you do it in love. No, Mel, it doesn't have an invite again. It doesn't have an invite again. Our conversation was good, wasn't it? You know, whatever you do, however you do it, make sure that you encourage, uplift, you know, celebrate that person, celebrate them, and live with passion, people. Sorry about that. Mel got disconnected, so we apologize for that. You know, but you guys live with passion. You know, we want to see you on March the 10th, where we're going to continue this conversation to talk about the strength of a woman, what it means to you, and how to better grow and think better, and the importance of having HR in your business as business owners, whether you're in MLM marketing, internet marketing, you're in business by yourself, with yourself, you have your coaching business, whatever business you're in, you need HR. Human resources is important. So if you need a human resource agent, coach, lifestyle coach, a business coach, reach out to Melecia, and she will give you the tools that you need. Her name is Melecia, Melecia MUN on Facebook, and you can follow her Power of Networking on Facebook, and you know, follow her there, ask her questions, inbox her, you know, be a burden to her. She likes that kind of stuff. She loves conversating with people, and I believe that it's important. Now my phone is frozen. It's important for us to do that. So you guys have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate the love, the support, and everything that you guys do with us. We appreciate it. And we look forward to seeing you on Saturday at 2 p.m. at the Comfort Inn in Rocky Hill, 1330 Silas Dean Highway. You can come on in and sit with us. You'll hear from Miss Pia John as she teach you yoga, and she teaches you some Zumba steps. And we're going to have our DJ star down there. We'll have Miss Cherie Sutton speaking about books. We have a whole host of things that's happening. So come on out, enjoy, fellowship, meet new people, new connections, and ways to grow your business. You'll have toolkits on how to grow your business and how to be empowered in your churches, in your community. Thank you all so much for joining me, and do have a wonderful, wonderful night, and see y'all tomorrow. I don't know what happened.